Now I'm going to talk about pretty much the first trick that most people build off of once they have the nollies figured out. It's a nollie 180. Essentially, it's, as the name would imply, it's a pop off the front wheel and you do a 180. It's a little bit different than a regular 180 for a couple of different reasons. One, you're almost always going to have to spin more off the front wheel, meaning that, rather than having just a tiny bit of rotation, sometimes having 60 degrees of rotation off the front wheel before you pop and throw the bike over, it's allowed a little bit more than it would be with a regular bunny hop 180. The other thing that makes it considerably different than a bunny hop 180 is the axis around which you spin, because you actually generally spin pretty close to your front axle. So it feels a little bit more like a disaster. Learning to do disasters is probably going to help with this trick, actually, strangely enough. But essentially, rather than having your bike spin on this axis here, this trick is a little bit harder to control usually because it involves whipping the back end of your bike around. It's a little bit more controlled than if you're whipping around some other spin tricks because you actually generally don't spin as much. This is another one of those tricks where you're generally not going to generate a whole lot of upward lift. So it's a really fun one to do nollie 180s downstairs or nollie 180s off of drops, that kind of thing. It's also fun to do to drop into wedge ramps. It opens up a whole different category of tricks, I think. And again, it's another really important building block if you're going to start doing a lot of the nollie slider tricks, nollie to 270s. So it's a good one to learn, takes a little bit of practice, and you might get a little bit frustrated with it, but just remember that you want to keep your weight really far forward like this just on a regular nollie, and just be patient with it because it takes time.